And we are off adventuring into the spaces between. I hope everyone is having just a lovely Friday evening here in TFR World. And we're being broadcast live on Truth Frequency Radio, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live. And also in YouTube World. So if you are listening in on YouTube, make sure you stop in and say hello. Hi, everyone. And then, let's see. Also, no matter how you are hearing me, make sure you do stop in and say hello, either with a hey, how's it going, or send me an email at wildepaisley@gmail.com. That's WILDEPAISLEY @gmail.com. You can also support the show by going to www.etsy.com/shop/Monarch Mountain Studio. That's MTN for mountain. Or you can go to patreon.com/the spaces between. So I hope you are all just having a lovely, lovely evening. And let's see here. TFR here, where there's no bumper music, so I didn't hear any of my music on the lead-in, and I'm just so confused and distracted. And oh yeah, call line. Yes, the call line will be open. It's 213-233-3998, or across the pond in the UK, it is 44203-393-2871. And if you are still listening to Mr. Brent and Deb Varner, just a really good show with them. Deb's really awesome to listen to anyways. She's just a whole lot of information like nobody's business. And I wish I could be more like Deb. Ooh, speaking of, hey, Dawn's here.
Oh, she forgot about me.
I didn't forget about you.
Is this thing live? Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's live, but all anybody can see is your shirt and your beard.
Well, that's all they need to see. Let me fix that. How's that?
Much better. There. Oh, hey, look, you cheeky monkey, you. Oh, yes. So, I am here. I hope everyone's having just a really good day, good week. I hope your quarantine is going well.
Hopefully your haircuts are all right.
So, a friend of mine, I got to meet her son today, and he took his hat off. She goes, "What did you do to your hair?" He goes, "It was touching my ears, and I couldn't take it anymore."
Oh.
So he shaved the sides of his head.
Sweet.
So it's long on top, so he's got kind of the Viking hairdo right now.
The Viking hairdo.
Except for he's listing slightly to one side, because one ear is apparently taller or shorter than the other one. I'm not sure. Yeah. So,
cool.
But yeah, there we go. Callboard's on. I remembered how to do it.
So apparently there's nothing playing through TFR right now.
Yep.
So, well, no bumpers and stuff, so interesting. So.
Yep. So, oh, yep. Callboard's on. I don't know why it has to wake me up like that, but yeah.
Sweet. So let's see. Last weekend was Beltane, right?
The
celebration.
Yeah, that was last week already. Holy cow.
And this weekend is Mother's Day.
Yep, this weekend's Mother's Day, so yep. Don't forget to call your mom.
Yeah. What do you want me to call her?
Mom.
Oh. Okay.
You, mommy dearest.
Oh. Wow. Just wow.
Mom.
Oh, well. So.
I don't know. You guys need to work that out between y'alls.
Whatevers.
Yeah. But yesterday was a full moon, so I hope everybody had just a good full moon. And I don't know. I suppose technically, night before last night, and tonight are kind of the 3 days of the full moon. So if you didn't have the opportunity to do a full moon ritual last night, yeah, you can still do it tonight. It's okay.
3 days of a full moon?
Kind of. It peaks on the full moon day, but it's still
Full for 3 days?
I embrace the 3 thing. 3 is a good number.
Okay.
Yes. Hi, Lucky. We're not really like in Bill Gates. Is that what this is?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's that. Everybody has that issue with that particular program. So anyhow, so Mother's Day.
Mother's Day.
Anything significant in the calendar for that other than it's something that was made up in Spokane?
Was it really made up in Spokane?
Yeah, it was confirmed in Spokane and then rushed across the United States.
Seriously?
Yes.
I thought it was just a Hallmark thing.
No, it's not. Well, it is now.
Huh. Okay, I did not know that.
Oh, wow.
You mean something happened in Spokane, Washington that was eventually embraced worldwide?
You mean other than like Spokanistan?
Spokompton?
Spokompton.
They had the World Fair there once upon a time.
They did. 70s. I think it was 76.
Yeah, something like that. I
can't remember.
I don't know. I was still knee-high to a grasshopper, so... Yeah. So, but anyways, if you're not listening to Mr. Brent and Deb finish up, it looks like we have Ken and Lawrence and Brent and George and Bill 13 in TFR World.
Nice.
And Lucky. And then in YouTube World, we have I am Pam, Lewis, MCAT, you yourself,
Me?
Mr. Don.
Me, myself, and I.
Lucky is everywhere. Lucky's the big sister.
Kinda, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a truth.
Yeah. Renee. Hi, Renee. So, Lewis.
Did you get Lewis? Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
hi, Lewis.
MCAT.
Yep.
Cool. Well, we got our friends here, so that's awesome.
And yeah, we're not going to talk about Bill Gates on this show tonight because that's like the proverbial can of worms. Yeah, we just don't need to go there, and we can talk about Bill Gates on Monday during open mic.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of something I thought of driving back today.
Did you write it down?
No, and I'll forget it promptly.
Text it to yourself.
Text it to myself. Yeah, I've got like 5 different
yeah, those things.
egos.
Yeah, and tell the voices in your head to remind you. Because so Lucky normally handles or kind of drives the bus on the open mic setup on Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays. Those start 11 a.m. Pacific time. And there's a 2-hour show. And so 11 to...
Two on the East Coast, I think it is.
I don't speak East Coast.
So 11, 12, 1, 2. 3 hours. 2.
Sure, okay. So anyways, yeah, 11 a.m.
myself in the eye with a spoon.
And Lucky's going to be unable to drive the boat, so I'll probably be driving the boat Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Unless Mr. Don wants to drive the boat, or Mr. Brent.
Did you... Wait, so... I don't know. Anyhow.
Anyways, that is only available on Truth Frequency Radio. That's nowhere else. Well, iHeart Radio, TuneIn, Talk Stream Life, that kind of thing. But it's not on YouTube.
Yeah.
So,
now, it might be because there's the TFR Live YouTube channel.
Yep. Yeah, TFR is kind of growing.
Yes.
It's awesome. We like it.
So anyhow.
So anyways, last night, full moon. Technically, it was called the flower moon. Do you know why?
Because it was the last one before harvest. The last one for the year, actually, isn't it? Not new moon, but super moon. It was a super moon last night.
It was not a super moon.
It was not a super moon? I thought it was the last super moon for the year.
Nope.
Oh.
It was just a full flower moon.
Okay.
Mostly because...
There's irises popping up?
Well, April showers bring May flowers.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, it... And I actually had a tulip bloom yesterday, which was kind of exciting. My first one. And then lilacs are getting ready to bloom. And my plum tree is blooming. My poor plum tree. It got abused by the winter. Old man winter abused the plum tree. So, but May generally marks the end of hard frost unless you live in the New England states. And if that's the case, you're expecting snow this weekend. Thunder snow.
Thunder snow.
Yeah. And then yeah, just kind of crazy.
So flower moon.
Yeah, flower moon. Also known as the full corn planting moon.
The fall corn planting
Full,
moon?
F-U-L-L. Because generally, in normal years, this is when spring is dried up enough that the farmers can get in the fields and plant.
Right.
And so it's when we can plant in the fields. And then in medieval Europe, the first day of May, or Beltane, was the day the cows were moved to their rich summer pastures, which provided them with more nourishment, of course, for their newborn calves, which is why it's called the full milk moon. So,
wow, how many names does it have?
As many personalities as you do, dear.
Oh, boy. That's going to get confusing.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so it's just kind of, there's a lot of lore, and some of those names do vary with the region you're in, because, just like there's different traditions around the world as far as religion goes or faith goes. Different cultures have adopted different habits and things, and they have named the different moons a little bit differently. That's all. Because like in the southern hemisphere, it wouldn't be considered the milk moon or the flower moon because it's fall. So it's the opposite side.
Right.
So, and here in the U.S., we tend to assume that everybody does what we do because we're just egocentric like that.
Well, they should.
I don't know. We have some things that are kind of messed up. But also, Halley's Comet was going through the area this week. And so there should have been some meteor showers if you're in the right areas. Let's see. What else? I don't know. There's just some random news. I had a plan actually for the evening, and then I realized that I'm not gonna have a co-host at all tomorrow night. I'm flying solo, all by myself. So,
why is that?
Aren't you going squatching?
Oh, right. Right.
Is that the word, squatching?
Squatching, yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna go squatch some stuff. Actually, what we're gonna do is we're gonna sit around a campfire in the hills and freeze and make recordings.
Okay. Well, I did have the opportunity to test drive your camera today with the tripod.
Oh.
And took some really good videos of hummingbirds.
Nice.
And I am gonna kind of muck around with one of them and see if I can slow it down a little bit so you can really see the wings, because it was cool.
Yeah.
It was just pretty cool.
Should be able to do that in Vegas.
Probably, yeah. So let's see. So I go to the Wild Hunt or wildhunt.org occasionally for news because, it's an interesting place to go for news. Anyways, NASA is actually in the Pagan news. So the mysterious Artemis Accords describe U.S. interests in space resources. What are the Artemis Accords? Do you know that?
I have no idea.
All right. So, let's see. Apparently it's a Trump thing. It's a legal roadmap for mining on the moon.
Nice. Okay. Right.
And so it's been called or named the Artemis Accords after NASA's renewed Artemis Moon Mission Program that plans to not only put humans on the space station, not only humans, but also a space station on the moon in the next decade. So NASA requested funding of $1.6 billion to begin the moon mission last year. And so right now it's currently planned for 2024. And hey, it even includes one woman astronaut. Whatever. Yeah, okay. So I
wonder where they're going to put that I don't know.
The
space station?
The space station? The moon base?
The moon base, yes. Where would they put the moon base?
I don't know. So the Moon 24, it's even got a hashtag. It's hashtag Moon 2024. It's been named after Artemis, who is sister to Apollo, and is goddess of the moon.
See, there you go. Now there's 2 women on the moon.
Shoot. I'm going to throw a rock at you.
Why specifically Artemis?
Because she's goddess on the moon. And she was sister to Apollo, all the Apollo missions. So they're hoping to land the first woman and the next man on the surface of the moon by 2024.
But I thought we lost the technology to do that. That's not the scope of the show, though, I know.
Yeah, I know. My cell phone is smarter than them.
I bet you Elon Musk is having a great day.
I don't know. He's trying to figure out how to name his kids some random assortment of numbers, letters, and punctuation.
Name him in binary.
Bleep bloop, bleep bloop, bloop, bloop.
Well, he can't use the name Moonian. It's already taken.
Right. So, but anyways, no, I thought it was interesting just because, it's associated with Artemis.
It is, yeah. So is that like her thing? She's the
goddess of the moon, yeah.
Goddess
one of those. So the Moon Agreement or Moon Treaty or the Artemis Accords.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Basically, it's encouraging international support for the recovery and use of space resources.
Mm-hmm.
And Americans should have the right to engage in commercial exploration, recovery, and use of resources in space consistent with applicable law. The U.S. does not consider the Moon Agreement to be an effective or necessary instrument to guide nation-states regarding the promotion or commercial participation in long-term exploration, etc., etc., etc.
Great.
Anyways, yeah.
Now
Actually, it's really interesting. Yeah. Anyway, so no, it's interesting. It was.
That's kind of awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
That's kind of awesome.
But so I'm just kind of. Yeah. What are you doing?
Playing with the snuffer.
Okay. So with the Wild Hunt, I figure, I don't normally go to their publication and talk about them much, and I should because they're kind of a good publication, honestly. So they had an article that came out in April. It says Miasma and Oracles: How Ancient Greeks Understood Plagues. Which is, yeah. Because there were plagues often, around the world.
No, really?
On this side of the world, that side of the world, I don't know. Anyways, so in antiquity, the pagan Greeks dealt with plagues a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because they didn't have clean water. They did, but it was complicated.
It was clean-ish.
Yeah. So they, even in the Iliad, they talked about some of the plagues that the Greeks had to deal with and such. So I'm just so let's see. Apollon, 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 and Helios. They were both in the Hellenistic age, and
those were plagues.
Well, they had names, and so they were.
So they named a plague after Apollon and Helios.
Yeah, pretty much. So Apollon had a lot of hats. So he was the god of healing, the god of prophecy, the god of light, the god of music, and the god who brought laws. So he wore a lot of hats. Anyways, the ancient Greeks had to figure out how to deal or understand plagues and their origins and stuff, because it was not really... The world was bigger then, I think. And when I say bigger, it was harder to get from, 1,000 miles away. It was a big deal. Mm-hmm. And nowadays, ask a chemcat, how long does it take to drive 1,000 miles?
She had no doubt.
Well, if you didn't have to stop, take a break once in a while, it'd be totally different. But so trying to figure out how to treat people, how to quarantine people, because they had to do that. It wasn't like the Black Plague or the bubonic plague. in medieval world, because that was a thing where they just kind of burnt the house down, literally.
Yeah.
And some of it, they could do that to, in Greece they did that too. Is perhaps easier because houses weren't quite made of stone yet. So, MCAT says one day.
I was going to say 20 hours. That's how long it took me to get to North Dakota.
It depends on the weather, depends on who's driving.
Yeah, no doubt.
Depends on the price of gas. So, but back then, people would go and consult the oracles and or have some sort of divination, read the auguries, and see.
Did you say the ovaries?
I suppose you could technically say reading the ovaries is the auguries, but
oh yeah, because auguries are the intestines, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Auguries, gotcha.
But if you would find out, it's like, hey, am I going to get sick with this disease or something? And depending on how much you could pay the oracle or the people who manage the oracle, you would get your answer.
The elders.
Yeah.
Pay the elders.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's always, the what was it called? Oh, you could always just do it the old Monty Python way. If you float, you're gonna die. Monty Python.
Float?
A duck, yeah.
Oh, a duck.
Yeah. You had to sink to be not a witch. She's not a witch. She's sinking.
Okay. Anyways, so...
Or no, she had to float. That's right. Wow. I need to stop working so much.
Yep.
If she floats, she's not a witch.
But, so anyways, there's the Inquisition method. There's that too.
Yeah.
But basically...
Inquisition, it's the comfy cushion Inquisition. Another Monty Python reference, sorry.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm almost a dead parrot.
Dead parrot?
Dead parrot sketch.
Isn't that like the name of a death metal band or something? Dead Parrot?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Are you sure? Because anyways. I wouldn't be surprised.
Anyhow.
But, okay. So when you went to the oracle or had your, the divination done of whatever it was, you have to pay the elders or the handlers, basically, the ones who are, giving out the doorkeepers. Yeah. And then they would often, do the interpretation of whatever was said. And sometimes it was, it didn't really matter what you paid. It was going to be bad because there's some politics involved.
No.
Politics? Yeah. Politics and religion. Because I think oracles, was there some truth to the oracles? Yes. Yes, there was. However, politics and religion took advantage of the oracles, and so people were manipulating what.
It's kind of odd you mention that because it was the same people.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean.
Yeah, because back then your elders
were
your elders or your I can't remember what they're called, but they were also the ones who guided the politicians. So.
Yeah.
But
the seers and all that.
Seers, yes.
And bring out the nuns.
What?
I don't know. Sometimes I look at chat and I wonder if we even talk the same language because
they're talking my language.
Yeah.
Well, MCAT is.
Which is why you're here, right? So, anyways,
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Continue, please.
All right. So, anyways, politics and religion became, interwoven even in that particular society, because there's power, and power often brings riches and the benefits, stature, all on their own, and people throughout history have been corrupted by that. So even though originally I think the oracles and those and such were not necessarily there to make money or be part of the power structure, they were there to advise. They were corrupted, just like so many others throughout history, and that power then, that authority was taken advantage of. So anyways, so that was just my thought. So anyways, one article that the Wild Hunt was talking about, and we even now today, and I'll probably talk about it in the next segment, we still have to figure out how to handle ourselves with when we have plagues or other things going on, because society can't just stop because they're scared of being sick. We're being ruled by fear. And I'm not saying that there shouldn't be some caution, because there should be. There's nothing wrong with caution. It's the fear. We can't just embrace the fear all the time. You can't grow if all you do is stumble around being afraid. And so we have to embrace it. And we have to figure out how to live with what's going on in our society today. We have to figure out what that new normal is. It's not going to look like it did 6 months ago or a year ago, even 6 weeks ago. It's going to be different when we come out of this plague mess that we've got going on now. It's it's a type of flu, and for those that it's affecting, it's a big deal. And I don't want to say otherwise, but because it is, it's a big deal for those that it is affecting. For the rest of us, we're kind of like, seriously, another thing? Why can't I buy toilet paper? Which I'm gonna grouch about the toilet paper, I think, pretty much consistently for a while, because there's still no toilet paper in my grocery stores. I don't get it. But anyways, we are at the bottom of the hour, and we're going to break. And so we will see you in just a few minutes, and stick around. Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we are off adventuring into the spaces between. And thank you, Lucky, for the cue cards. I appreciate them. Because, yeah, I get to look in and read it in between the shows, trying to, what am I going to talk about next, that kind of thing. And suddenly, boom! Yeah, it's... it is what it is. So,
Cool.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
It's me. I did it.
Okay.
Because I didn't want everybody hearing me eat.
Nom nom nom.
Nom, 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 nom.
There is nothing wrong with nomming.
Well, not like in people's ear, you know.
But true. Very true. So, I don't know. What's new with you, Don?
What's new with me?
Yeah.
Nothing really. I mean, I'm pretty an average guy, pretty much an average guy here. Gonna go squatching tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay.
um,
I put you on the spot. Didn't turn the camera on.
That's okay, because I'm eating.
I know. My timing is awesome.
Yeah, huh?
Are you eating kimchi?
No.
Okay.
I should. So,
Okay. Yes. Full moon this week is beautiful.
Thank
Lucky
you.
says.
Yes.
Lucky is just, yeah. Thank you for the cue card. So, in reading, part of the reason why I was a little distracted and needed the cue card, it's an article in HuffPost. It's a couple years old. But it was kind of the title is Paganism, an overview of one of the least understood modern religions. And I thought it was kind of interesting, so I wanted to talk about it, because why not? Basically, it starts off with evil witches and flying wizards dominating entertainment media. It's no wonder there is such confusion about paganism and Wicca. And so, but, there's that. There seems to be really a huge increase right now in witch type entertainment, or fantasy, I guess, maybe.
Can I point out some fantasy?
Sure.
HuffPost.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, modern religions. Yeah, Ray, I have to agree. Ray goes, modern? What's that? Yeah, not like... Just remember that, this was written probably by an American by the name of Karen that has no idea that, paganism has been around for longer than pretty much anything else. So, Damn
you, Karen!
So, not to offend any Karens out there, but anyways, so it's a list of things that might be classified as pagan. There's even quotes around it.
According to HuffPost.
According to HuffPost, yeah. So I haven't actually read the article. I just read the first 2 paragraphs and was giggling. And so I figured, let's start there. So this particular article focuses on Western neo-pagan traditions, including Wicca and Neo-Druidism. Yes, I'm not sure which essential oil turns Karen into a witch of the 7th Dragon Order, but maybe I should turn Don's camera on. You guys might see rice come out his nose. Oh no, she just got the incense kit off of Amazon. So,
but in that case, you have dragon's blood incense too. There you go. So watch out, Karen.
Witch of the 7th. Yeah. All right. So the first one is symbols. So this is the like he says, please video it, or it didn't happen. So symbols, and this is your pretty typical pentagram star with a circle around it. And it says likely Many religions, pagans employ certain symbols both as representatives of their faith and images and objects that contain power in and of themselves. The pentacle is probably the most common in paganism, often depicted in art and jewelry. Some say its 5 points represent 4 directions plus the sacred spirit. Okay, that's not so bad. I can handle that one. The next one is people. And I would show you guys this image, but I don't think it'll work. It's 2 people dressed probably in some sort of ceremonial clothing, and they're next to a tree, and this tree looks like a whole bunch of dowsing sticks and maybe a cricket bat. I'm not sure. Anyway, so
Is it Blair Witch style?
no, not at all. There's a couple drinking horns and some trays and hammers, and I don't know what they're supposed to be. So anyways, Harvard apparently did a study called Pluralism Project. It says it's difficult to determine the number of pagan adherents around the world, as estimates vary widely. The number may be anywhere between 200,000 and 1 million, or maybe more. Really? Maybe more? Most pagans don't exhibit their religious identity outside the ritual space, unless they are wearing clothing or jewelry depicting pagan symbols such as the pentacle. According to the Pagan census, modern pagans are distributed fairly evenly throughout the U.S., with a slight majority on either coast. Men and women of all ages, races, and backgrounds practice paganism, though the census said the community tends to skew towards white, middle-class women. Probably named Karen.
You almost got me. Okay. All right.
Damn
you, Karen.
Right? Oh, come back here. Did I lose it? No, I didn't. All right. So the next one is sects, S-E-C-T-S. So contemporary paganism is widespread and somewhat scattered, hence the difficulty counting adherents. Modern paganism does not descend from a singular ancient religion, but rather many ancient indigenous and folkloric traditions, and there is no central text to refer to that can shed light on doctrine. There are, however, subtle distinctions that delineate Celtic and Northern European sects, Baltic and Slavic sects, Greek and Southern European sects, really, I hate this word, American neo-paganism, and other groupings around the world. Some covens, which are organized groups of pagans, worship specific deities such as Diana or Odin. Others practice ancient Druidism, such as John Rothwell, who goes by Arthur Pendragon, while some focus on activism, such as reclaiming the traditions. Hi, Titan. So the next one is sites. In general, pagan worship centers around the earth and spirit, as opposed to specific structures imbued with a sacredness, like a church, Mecca, the Vatican, etc. Forests, hilltops, urban warehouses, and individuals' homes can operate as ritual sites, especially because many pagans take measures to create sacred space for rituals, regardless of where they are. That said, some natural or ancient sites, such as Stonehenge or Machu Picchu, may hold particular importance for some pagans. Which, that's true. Because pagans don't necessarily have to have a church to go to, because, we create our sacred space wherever we need to create it. Some spaces call us specifically.
Well, it wasn't exactly like the Norse went to Stonehenge to celebrate.
Right?
It wasn't like Wicker Man.
Exactly.
Green Man. It wasn't like Green Man.
Green Man, yeah. And, the other thing, a couple 100,000 practitioners. Yeah, they get that around Stonehenge at the solstices or the equinoxes.
Yeah.
I mean, my interview with Ellen that we had last week, she talked about that too. And,
Right.
Any of those sacred spaces that are around the world, often people congregate there, for different rituals throughout the year. And unfortunately, just like people around the world, don't take very good care of it. So we need to make sure we are cleaning up after ourselves when we're at one of those spaces and treating those spaces with respect.
Activism, the act of going somewhere and trashing the crap out of it.
Right?
in while denouncing going to places and trashing the crap out of it.
And that's something I just don't understand. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
So, if you're gonna go,
pack it in, pack it out.
It's pretty
Good
straight up.
God.
Easy. I mean, it's easy.
So, but anyhow.
So the next one, triple goddess. So the triple goddess in modern paganism embodies the maiden, the mother, and the crone. These three aspects are meant to encompass the full power of the goddess reflected in the moon's cycles. The waxing moon represents the maiden, the full moon represents the mother, and the waning moon represents the crone. Pagans will often hold gatherings or do personal meditation to observe these moon phases. In addition to the goddess, some pagans worship a masculine divinity, occasionally in the form of the horned god or the green man. Many also revere the natural world and divine as well. Okay, Titan, it is never too late to ask a question. You should know that by now. So this whole the triple goddess thing kind of does bother me slightly, mostly because there is a lot of pagans out there who don't really observe the triple goddess.
True.
And to jump to that assumption that
everybody does,
it's like saying all Christians are Baptists. And that's not the way it works. So
rapture.
So Sabbats or quarter days. There are 8 Sabbats that make up the pagan wheel of the year, though not all pagans observe all 8. Each Sabbat corresponds with different seasonal events of the year. Pagans celebrate the winter solstice, spring equinox, summer solstice, and autumn equinox, or quarter days, to mark the deepest part of the season and the lengthening or shortening of daylight. Okay, I can work with that. That's okay. Hello, Elaine. So, and then Sabbats are cross quarter days. So the other 4 Sabbats or cross quarter days are Imlach, Beltane, Lunasa, and Samhain. Imlach falls in early February and celebrates the onset of springtime, encouraging the sprouting of seeds and new life. Beltane is an early summer celebration in May, often seen as a fertility festival. Okay, just so you know, a lot of pagan celebrations are fertility festivals.
No way!
Yeah, just saying. And Lunasa falls in August and is the first of several harvest festivals. Samhain coincides with the Western Halloween and is a holiday for paying tribute to the deceased. It is often seen as a time when the veil between this world and the afterlife is the thinnest. What they don't mention here, Karen, is that... I'm sorry. I'm ragging on Karen tonight. His Beltane also has a thinning of the veil, just like Samhain. All right, so I'm going to pause there because I can. And Titan asked a question. Actually, it's a pretty good question. He goes, Paisley and Don, if you feel like your energy or frequency is low, what are some things you can do to increase your energies or frequencies?
Rub my rocks. No, I'm here. This. Oh, you should have saw that one coming.
Oh, yes.
Energy, so quartz, that's what I wear. Quartz with tourmaline. So power energy mixed with bounce back, screw you kind of stuff.
Yeah. So when it comes to needing to recharge your energy, part of it, start
Where
to
the
think
hell
about
would you clean your mailbox? Never mind, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
spiders,
Oh.
yellow jackets,
Okay.
paper wasps. Apparently.
How did you get pear in your nose? I hope it was chewed up really well.
Or was it beer?
No. Lucky said she spewed. Oh, pear beer, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyhow,
it wasn't on video. It didn't happen.
it didn't happen.
So,
yeah, Pixar didn't happen. Yeah.
so for like if you're an introvert, often needing to go find a quiet space is a good way to recharge. If you're an extrovert and this time of year, go to Walmart. You can pick up some energy there.
Oh my God. You can pick up quite a few things there. Unfortunately, you can't get the cure, which is penicillin.
Right. Hi, Julia. So, it varies, I guess. Yeah, think about what are those things that make you happiest? Reading a book, meditation, chocolate, coffee, tea.
Now you're talking about
soda.
endorphins.
Boost your energy. Think about it. Julia boosted her energy by going fishing and spending time in the sunshine.
That's called meditation.
Yeah, that works. We need to make Lucky sneeze because she's got pears stuck in her nose.
Can't get it out. I can't get that. You should have saw it coming. I can't say anything else. That's all there is.
Lucky you shouldn't be doing lines of pears. Anyway, so
recharging, discharging.
Yeah. So to losing energy. Sometimes if go barefoot in the dirt. It's when you do your meditation. Really do.
Grounding.
Sorry, Julia came in halfway through the conversation. Julia,
oh, Jesus, Julia. That's not how you do CPR. Oh, we love the chat.
Oh, you guys are awesome. So, when you're doing meditation, I'm looking away now.
When you're doing
meditation and you're visualizing, in your eye, close your eyes when you do meditation and think of you're anchoring your spine to the ground and you're just extending that energy into the ground. Think of like tree roots going into the earth. Like Groot, and that energy is going out, and then you're bringing in the earth energy, and you're bringing it up into your core. So after you push out all of the icky stuff that's not really good, and then you breathe in or pull in the good earth energy, and you can do the reverse for going up into the sky, the universe energy. As you exhale, blow out that negative crap that's been building up inside your pores and your cells and just your mind and your nose. And then, push it out into the world, into the universe. And then bring that universe energy back in and bring it into your core and just, stoke your inner fires of feel-goodness and such. So, and it's just... If you need guidance on how to better meditate, send me a message, wildepaisley@gmail.com, wildepaisley@gmail.com, or there are a lot of videos out on YouTube World right now on how to meditate.
You don't want to send them to them. You want to send them to your Patreon.
Yeah, go to patreon.com.
Spaces between.
Yep. Suppose I need to put a YouTube video on there about meditation.
Well, we might be.
Actually, yeah. So we'll burn that bridge later. But yeah, there's quite a few different things you can do to grow that energy within yourself. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, yeah, you do need the coffee to give you that nudge.
Sometimes you just need a good Beltane celebration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Secret Language of Trees is very good. Mm-hmm. I've heard really good things about that one, actually. And Kat's right. The Inner Temple of Magic is a good one. It talks about how to work on your own energy and such. So
and there's another thing though, and we kind of not glanced over it, but okay, on the portal the other night last week. we had Pharmacy Seed Networks on, and we were talking about the nutrition for the spirit, and that was the object that we just rabbit holed so many times during that show, though. But you mentioned chocolate and coffee. Yeah, those are fine, but also nutrition. Get those. Hopefully you eat pears through the mouth and not through the nose. Pears are good for you. Get that nutrition. Get those good things going in your body. Energy-wise, not power-wise, but energy-wise.
Right. Cook a good meal.
Yeah.
Comfort food.
Yeah.
There's a reason why comfort food is called comfort
Ah.
food.
Yeah.
Whether it's, a nice roast with,
Exactly, yes.
with potatoes and carrots and all the yumminess, or for some people it's lasagna, for others it's tacos.
Chicken and dumplings.
Fried chicken.
Fried chicken takes too long.
So, no, it doesn't. You can pick it up at the store.
Oh, gosh. You might as well just throw it right in the toilet and eliminate the middleman.
That's whatever it is. Yeah, roasted root vegetables. Pickled beets occasionally. I like
Roasted
those.
root vegetables, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Except beets. Those aren't really vegetables.
Naps are good.
Naps are awesome. Yes.
Naps are wasted on the youth.
Yes.
So, but yeah, there's all sorts of different ways. And during this lovely time of quarantine, try a few.
Yeah.
I mean, if one doesn't work, well, try another one.
They say practice makes perfect.
Right?
Yeah.
And try it a couple times.
Let your body shut down and do it because you heal best.
Take a bath.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Bubble bath.
I don't know about
You're
the
never too
bubbles,
old for a bubble bath. Or Epsom salts in your bath are excellent.
a soaking bath.
Soaking bath.
Very good idea.
You can put so if you have chamomile tea in
Eucalyptus.
tea bags, throw the tea bags in your bath water as steep your bath water.
So you're steeping yourself.
Yeah, steep yourself. Mint is very refreshing.
Eucalyptus.
Yeah, eucalyptus is good. Citrus is very good. So if you orange peels, if you buy some oranges or lemons or something and put the peels in a little pot with some water, simmer on the stove.
I prefer to bathe in sage and black pepper.
Do we marinate you at 350 degrees?
Why would you marinate something hot? Marinate slow at room temperature.
I don't know.
Yes.
Anyways.
Anyhow.
So yeah, all sorts of different things you can do. And if you like to drink the tea, I don't know.
Don't drink the tea that you put in the water.
Right. But kind of like
water,
when you're cooking, if you're going to cook with wine, you should probably cook with a good wine. Because if you're not going to drink it, you probably shouldn't cook with it.
And you shouldn't drink it while you're cooking with it.
Well, you can, but
you might not end up
Right.
with anything.
you might run out of wine to cook with. But so if it's good enough to drink, it's good enough to cook with. But same with the tea. So if you have tea that you really like, or something that really appeals to you, like sometimes I just really want a really good chai tea. It's okay to put chai in your bathwater.
Yeah.
Or raspberry tea. That's good to put in your bathwater. Mint, yes, all of that. So there's sorry, dog in the laundry basket. He wants to sleep on the socks.
That really sucks.
So yeah, there's a couple different things, and yeah, try a few things.
Yeah. Well, walk. Go for.
Okay, so it is kind of cliche, and the Karens in the world do this, and that's you take a bath, you put the cucumbers on your eye, you have the glass of wine, you eat some chocolate, candles, the whole 9 yards. It's not just for white girls. Anybody can do it.
Oh my God.
So,
But according to HuffPost, it's mainly middle class.
yeah, I know, so anyways, the next one here, we're going to go back to my list because it's hilarious, as altars. And it actually looks more like a salad bar than an altar, this image, but okay. So pagans often construct altars for rituals. This is true. And to keep in their homes. This is also true. And these may act as offerings to specific deities or to
the altars are sacrifices?
Apparently, or to the goddess, more generally. Each object holds certain meanings, such as rocks to symbolize earth, seeds to symbolize intentions and new life, bread to symbolize bounty, and so on. Generally, the altar is not sacrificial.
I didn't even notice that. What? Did that say that? Wow. Not the altar itself, at least.
An altar's a table. It's a place to put things, like your tools. It's a workbench.
It's a workbench. It's the workbench for the she shed.
Yeah, but so now, are some of the things on your altar an offering? Yes, absolutely. To a specific deity or deities, often.
Hey,
but not necessarily. Hey, guess what? It's break time.
Oh,
we're gonna come back.
Be right back.
Yeah, well,
if I can remember what I said.
Cue cards. Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we are off adventuring into the spaces between. Oh, goodness. Lucky, thank you with the cue cards. You're hired. Forever. Never leave. And you can't go to work. So. Yes. Dee, you are probably right. We will be swapping quarantine stories, like they used to swap depression stories. Mm-hmm. Or, the the toilet paper fiasco of 2020. I don't know. Yeah. So, a Titan wants to know how to build an altar back, because some things get used, and I get this because they do. Now I have on mine. Let's see, what do I have? My crystal ball, because it's ginormous. I have my sage stick. I have a candle, my incense. I have a cup for salt, a cup for water, some feathers, my selenite wand, my athame, and just some other stuff. I'm just looking at it. So it varies a little bit. What is it that what is it you need, I guess, Titan, for your altar? These things should be, what feels good to you, what has meaning to you. So it could be candles. Birthday candles work just as well as any other candle, honestly. And for some rituals, I 100% prefer birthday candles. One, because they're birthday candles, they're happy. And two, because the dollar store has packages of them with lots, and they come in many colors. Even black. Ha 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 ha. No, I'm kidding. Many colors. And for a lot of rituals, you really do want the candle to burn away completely before or by the end of your ritual. So if that's the case, then you'll want to. Thank you. You'll want to make sure you have a candle that's either going to burn out in a timely amount of time, of course, a timely amount of time, because you don't want a 5 or 100-hour candle and want your ritual to a long time. So often birthday candles will blow out in a couple minutes, and or burn out in a couple of minutes, and that's good. I mean, that's good.
Unless you get the ever light ones.
Yeah, even those do eventually burn out, because they can only they only have so much material to burn. Make flowers out of paper. This drink, Lewis wants to know what the drink is.
It's Paisley's Plum Pop.
Wow, that's got some kick to it, and it's a little fizzy.
Pop.
Did it pop?
It's Paisley's Plum Pop.
Sure, okay.
With a kick. Yeah,
that's got a lot of fizz to it. Goodness. So. Yeah. That's good stuff.
Okay, anyhow. What were you talking about?
Titan was talking about replenishing the altar, what to put on there.
Oh, well, you want to refresh your water, your salt. Definitely keep those nice and fresh.
Mm-hmm. Herbs are good.
Herbs, yeah.
If you cook, you have herbs. Just Google them. And water soda. Yeah, that's what that is.
Unless it's plum pop.
So yes, Renee, we are now drinking an adult beverage by the name of plum wine.
Yeah, what else would we drink other than moon water, of course? Yes, I just had that one off.
Wow.
Don's wine glass.
Well, if you drop it, it won't break.
That's why Don has it.
So now, the challenge, if you choose to accept it, is to make Don laugh hard enough that wine comes out his nose. I'm kidding. It is pretty good, actually, Dee. It's a little. I wish I had put It almost needs a spice to it of some sort.
No, God, no.
Just a
No.
hint.
No, muddle your own wine. Ugh.
I am pre-muddled.
I'll be plum pickled here in a minute.
So, going on through my little article. Oh, and if you do call in, let me know, because I'm focusing all sorts of places. So, did I make fresh moon water last night? No, actually, I did not. Do you know why? Because the moon didn't come out until after midnight, and I didn't. So,
I saw it, laying from my bed, looking out the window, going, "My goodness, it's bright. I wish I could sleep."
Okay, I don't know. Maybe you needed to go take a bath in it. Go outside, bathe naked to the pale moonlight.
Why did you
don't
paint yourself black? Nobody said what? Uh-oh.
Yes. Yep, line, what? Who? Where?
Hold on.
Oh, goodness, what? Hold on. Hold, please. Skype.
Lucky, are we still on,
She's getting
TFR?
Yeah, we should be.
That's what he's talking about.
Yeah, I'm still on here.
You still on? Okay, well, no big deal.
Well, it is a big deal, though. I can hang up and call back. Lucky, what do you want me to do, honey? I can call.
Just do it.
Just do it. Okay, hold on.
So,
Hold, please.
meanwhile,
Donald, talk.
Yeah. So meanwhile, yeah, I meant to ask you about if you put anything out last night, or charged anything, or made some more delicious, don't drink my moon water. But I forgot to do that. Forgot to ask you about that. No, she says it's just you. Reconnect to the studio, please. So there you go.
Okay.
So we'll be good here in a second. But yeah, I was wondering, did you do anything last night? Apparently you didn't.
I did not. And mostly because, in reality, I was tired.
Yeah.
And that happens,
Well, yeah.
It was a beautiful full moon, but yeah, I was tired. I may do something tomorrow night after the show. I don't know. We'll see. I kind of wanted to have a bonfire because, okay, it's not a bonfire.
Yeah, it's not a bonfire.
It burn some sticks, because I can. Yeah, so that may, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
What?
I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, drink your wine. So the next item on the list from Karen is tools.
God,
Actually, her name isn't Karen, but I'm gonna go with it.
Might as well be from HuffPost.
Right? So pagans occasionally employ tools in rituals and personal practice that may either function in ritual procedures, such as an athame, or aid in divination, such as a pendulum, assist in cleansing, such as water or incense, or pay respects to a specific deity, such as a statuette. Other tools may include drums, candles, ribbons, cauldrons, and more, depending upon the specific ritual or practice for which they will be used. Actually, that's not a bad paragraph.
I'm surprised they used the word athame and not a dagger.
Right?
A poker thing.
Well, different. Maybe it translates that way for Karen.
Put that knife back in the drawer. It's not what we do with our knives in this house.
Right? We run with them. Because we can. So.
As I sever the cord.
Yeah, I know.
That's you.
A bomber, honestly, I have a hard time sleeping during the full moon generally. Although this time I've been falling asleep pretty heavily. I just haven't felt very rested. This last new moon, actually, I had a hard time sleeping, which was very, very bizarre for me. So, all right, next one is fire. So fire plays a prominent role in many pagan rituals and in personal practice through candles and incense. During some rituals, pagans cast a circle around a large fire, which is seen to hold transformative power. Fire may also be used in cleansing, divination, trance, and ecstatic dancing.
Ecstatic dancing.
Ecstatic, like, woohoo, I'm happy, I'm ecstatic, yeah,
Oh, wow.
I guess it happens.
Is that runs with scissors or runes with scissors?
Yeah, something like that. I would have to have a lot of wine or tequila to ecstatic dance.
That would be called Sky Cloud. Because tequila, I've heard tequila makes your clothes drop off.
Never had that problem.
Do we mark these as not fit for children
Yes.
videos? Yeah, okay, good.
That's my default because occasionally I drop the F-bomb and I try not to. Or other things. So, yeah. So the next thing on the list is rituals. The anatomy of any pagan ritual will vary from group to group, but Reclaiming, which is one of the best-known American pagan groups, identifies several key components. Typically, rituals begin with grounding and cleansing, then move to the casting of a circle. Leaders and or participants will often invoke deities, then guide one another into trance or magic work. At the end, participants often share food and drink before closing the ritual by devoking and opening the space once again.
Devoking?
Yeah, I was kind of hung up on that word too. Devoking. Is devoking a word?
I don't know.
I gotta look it up.
Well, there's a thing in, paranormal circles, apports and deports, but they're like totally different. But the idea is that, what was the word you said?
Devoke.
Devoke. So invoke and devoke. So apport and deport. Yeah. So I don't know.
I think they made this one up.
Well, I really didn't think apport was a word either, but apparently it is. But it's Americans writing for Americans. You can do anything you want anymore. Go ahead and say salmon. Pronounce the L. Nothing matters anymore.
So devoke meaning is to catch or take something from, and the definition of a devoke is a word that expresses action or state of being. Devoke vary by type, and each type is determined by the kinds of words that accompany it and the relationship those words have with the verb itself.
What the hell?
The
Really?
definition of is
Wow.
so it's actually a name?
Now it's a name?
I don't know, but I went to names.org and Tafika came up, so I don't know. Karen, you're high. Just saying.
Okay, so we've invoked and devoked.
Yeah, we've devoked. And then magic is next, with some more of that ecstatic dancing. So magic in paganism and witchcraft is primarily about change and transformation. By some accounts, magic allows practitioners to remove the barriers of what they think is possible so that they can manipulate the physical or spiritual world. Most groups shun what is sometimes referred to as black magic and instead employ magic crafts that encourage practitioners to draw health and fortune into their lives and the lives of others. Some magical activities include chanting, trance, craft work, and more elaborate manipulations of objects.
I wish they would qualify that a little bit more.
Yeah, I know, right? Good night, Brent.
Good night, Brent. Sorry you got a headache, bud.
So,
be ready to go tomorrow. Let me know when we need to leave.
Yeah, because you're going squatching. Dee says she's a devocalist.
A devocalist. Nice.
Right? Devoking.
Okay, anyhow. What was next on the list?
Good night, Julia. So next is invoking deities. One of the key elements of pagan rituals and personal practice is the invocation of specific deities. The chosen deity may correspond to a certain Sabbath, such as Brigid for Imlach, and the invocation is intended to invite the god or goddess to assist in the ritual so the participant may come to know the divine through embodiment.
Nice. Very nice.
Actually, it's not a bad paragraph.
So that's
I'm
actually
okay
very
with
nice
that
one, yeah.
paragraph.
But don't forget to devoke.
Yeah, right?
You have to devoke.
So the next one is pagan leaders. All right, so modern pagan leaders are often hard to identify due to the dispersed nature of the faith. Individuals may be trained and ordained by specific seminaries or by independent groups such as reclaiming. I'm going to have to look up this reclaiming thing. In general, pagan sects are non or semi-hierarchical, but certain individuals may hold sway in the community due to their large followings, such as Starhawk, or their influence through authorship. Actually, that doesn't sound too bad.
Well, it amazes me how many times we've talked to people or we've come across things where these people who are writing these books are high priests, priestesses, whatnot, and it seems like, but it kind of seems to me like if you write a book, you're an authority. Whether that book's any good or not. Whether somebody's actually read it or not, But if you wrote a book, dang it, I'm an authority. And so that makes you a leader?
Not necessarily. So, okay, maybe according to Karen. So this is paganism according to Karen. Chapter
9.
Right? Paganism according to Karen. Chapter 3, verse 2.
Damn you, Karen.
Devoke. Almost. Did you see that? I almost did it. So, so there are a lot of spiritual leaders in the paganism community. Are often, authors of some sort.
Sure.
And partly because, like, if you take on a student, you start accumulating things you're teaching the student, and it's like, I've got a book of stuff to teach people. Why don't I just publish it? Or because if you publish it, say, through Amazon, for instance, or through the Kindle world, then you can send it to other people, so you could have students all around the world. In theory, they could have an e-copy. So, I don't know. I don't know that all. I don't personally feel that just because you wrote a book, you're an expert. No, Bomber, her name is not Karen. I started off with Karen at the beginning, and it kind of just is sticking because, unfortunately,
Paganism according to Karen.
Yeah, paganism according to Karen. That's a great title for a book.
Get an endorsement from Stevie Nicks.
Do you think I could get endorsed by Sharon?
Oh, God.
Do the preamble. Sharon, do the preamble. Anyways, so, mostly,
wow.
Yeah, just, there's a lot of people out there who publish stuff, and if anybody has ever read one too many free Kindle books in the middle of the night because you can't sleep, not all books are created equal.
No. God, no.
Until the invention of Kindle, I had actually managed to read complete every book that I'd ever picked up. And it, since Kindle, that's not, no. There's been a few Kindle books that I start, I get about 3 chapters in, I'm like, no, I'm done. Nope. So, anyways. The preamble, is that like the zombie shuffle? The preamble, was it a dance in the 60s? Was it like the zombie shuffle? The preambling around?
Oh. They did the most?
I don't know. So, next. Marriage is actually listed here.
Marriage is what brings us here today.
So, along with legal marriage and domestic partnership, some pagans practice hand fasting, a ritualistic but not legal form of marriage. According to the BBC, hand fasting rituals are believed to predate Christianity and was certainly present by medieval times. During the ceremony, the couple will tie their wrists together with ribbons or twine to represent their union.
Okay.
Believed to predate Christianity.
Duh. Hi, my name's Karen. I'd like to speak to the... Did you write a book? I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to your manager. I don't care if you wrote a book.
Yeah. Okay.
And we shall call her Karen.
Paganism according to Karen. Seriously. I'm kind of liking that one. So activism is the next on the list. Though not a rule for pagan communities, some groups make activism and community work central to their practice. Some of the causes promoted by pagan groups include environmental protection, gender and racial equality, LGBT, this is an old article, so it's only LGBT rights, and the preservation of sacred indigenous sites. So this is actually one of those things that the contemporary paganism causes me to just cringe slightly, because paganism in today's world is often linked. It's like, oh, you're pagan, so what environmental group are you with? It's like, no. That's not necessarily the way it works. You don't have to be an activist if you're a pagan. It's not synonymous. It's not left hand, right hand.
Well, that's like we were talking to Rick.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about, the difference between conservatism.
Yes.
And conservationism.
Mm-hmm.
And conservationism is the act of, well, okay. Let's just go to, because I mentioned like forestry.
Mm-hmm.
We have to take care of that. So there are, as I've said, there are a lot of people that say, no, we shouldn't go in there and touch anything and blah, 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 blah. And then we end up having wildfires all the way through Malibu and up into, southern Oregon,
Mm-hmm.
wildfires,
Yeah.
But that's, we can practice husbandry,
mm-hmm.
clearing away to protect the forest themselves, and you can do it
like here,
with common sense.
For instance, like here in North Idaho, we've had a couple of really major windstorms in the last couple months.
Right.
And trees are down.
That one area so bad.
Trees down everywhere. And
but you can't cut a tree down.
And I mean, like, trees have been around for a while. I mean, big trees, just
pre-Christian.
Yeah, not quite. Pre-Karen. So they've been uprooted, and some of these trees, a lot of them have actually been cleaned up, and most of them have been cleaned up. But you can tell where people have been hesitant to do some of that cleaning up because the trees are still there. So these are full-grown trees that tipped over, and now they're leaning against other trees.
Yeah.
And they're not living, they're drying out because the winds are happening. Summer is going to be here shortly. And those are called fire ladders.
Mm-hmm.
So if a fire were to go through those areas, they would light the bark on fire, hit those branches, and go zing right up the tree and into the canopy of the healthy tree, which is often more likely to catch fire than the base of the tree. And so instead of taking care of the trees, they've actually created a greater potential for insane hot fires that are devastating. And if fire gets too hot, it's going to scorch the ground, and scorched ground doesn't really grow very much, which is bad. And it would be better to practice husbandry and good housekeeping of your forests,
sensible forestry,
and clean some of that stuff up. I mean, it's not rocket surgery. Really, it's not. So, all right. So activism. I have issues with activism.
There is nothing wrong with activism. Just don't be rabid.
Yeah. Rabid activism is bad because you don't militant rabid activism is bad because you don't hear anything other than the voice in your head saying you are right. because often you may not have all the information necessary to really be right. So, let's see. We got just over a minute. I'm going to hold off on the next one. So, yeah.
Okay.
Because this is kind of fun. I like these. Did you know that G says our show is funnier the longer we go with the more we drink?
Well, of course. Of course, last week when we were just
punchy with exhaustion,
slapped ham.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, it was horrible.
But apparently it was a good show.
I don't even know why it's still up.
Yeah, apparently it was good. So, Mother's Day.
Mother's Day, yes.
Yes.
Mother's Day.
So Mary had just joined us. Marilyn had just joined us. And, Honey Bunch, you don't have to get up in the middle of the night to listen to us live. You can listen.
That's why it's available on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. It's in the archives. You can go to TFR and get it there, too.
We do love your company, though.
Yes. So don't leave. All right. So, 10 seconds.
10
Before
seconds.
we go to break, any thoughts?
10 seconds is all it takes for a nuclear warhead to cross the Atlantic from Russia to the United States.
That is so random. Why do you know that?
Activism. My name is Karen.
All right. We'll be right back, you guys.
That's not true, but whatever.
Mics are on. Cheers.
What the heck's going on?
So TFR will experience Lucky's gonna fix it between my show and Duke later this evening.
Which is just in the next half hour.
Is it only a half hour? What time is it?
It's 10:30.
Is it really?
10:30 our time.
10:30 our time. 10:30 Pacific time.
Are you back on YouTube then?
Yeah, we're back on YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Wow, that was
Peanut
short.
Gallery, yeah.
I had just enough time to go get the rest of the bottle of wine.
It's a big bottle, guys.
It's called a Magnum.
Boom, boom, boom.
It has a name. Its name shall be George. Because Karen's already taken.
Right. All right, so All right. So next is community. So paganism is by no means an adults-only tradition. The 1999 Pagan census, which, by the way, I didn't know there was a Pagan census, found out that just over 40% of the participants reported that they had children. Excuse me. The growing number of children in the pagan community has led some groups to open their rituals to families and youth, adjusting some practices that may not have been appropriate for or accessible to young people, you think? Yeah. Because, yeah.
I totally missed that whole thing. I apologize.
Basically, this particular paragraph by Karen said that in 1999 the Pagan census
Pagan census. Okay.
Found that.
See, I obviously I wasn't a pagan then.
Yeah, I have Pagan census. I didn't know that was a thing. I gotta look it up.
Apparently it is. You must be from a pagan lineage.
No, well, it didn't come up on the first 2 pages of Google. So, So basically, a lot of pagans in today's world have kids.
Really?
Right?
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, cheers. I have kids. There's 20 years between my kids.
Apparently Aussie Tiger's never seen us drink before.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Bottoms up, buddy.
Cheers. It's not a small bottle.
It is not a small bottle. As a matter of fact, it's
You should show Bummer the bottle.
It's 1500 milliliters. It's basically 2/5 of wine.
Yep.
A bottle of wine is 750 milliliters, or roughly a little over 13 ounces.
How do you remember those things?
Because I'm an alcoholic.
Okay.
So a magnum is 2/5. So basically, essentially, it's 2/5. And of course, a fifth is a fifth of a gallon. So there you go.
Okay. Mary, take care of yourself.
Oh, is she on her way on? Yeah. She needs
sick.
to sleep. Yeah.
Drink plenty of water. And those kidney infections are gross, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I get them too. Not when I'm pickled, but I have gotten them. So the last one here, personal practice. So the Pagan census found in 2003 that just over 50% of respondents said that they were solitary practitioners.
Mm-hmm.
This means they do not belong to a coven and may not have been trained by a larger spiritual organization. Solitary practitioners observe rituals and practice magic on their own, or perhaps occasionally in small groups. Even for those involved in covens, personal practice is seen as key for developing magical skills and deepening spiritual connection. Okay, so oddly, in our world right now, everybody's a solitary practitioner.
I must have missed that definition of that, because that really, well, not really. It depends on what your faith you're following.
What tradition?
Yeah, well, I said faith because a lot of faiths are group-based.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't say they're solitary practitioners. They all think the same thing. It's almost like a hive mind sometimes.
Okay.
They all think the same way. They all practice the same way. I'm talking about faiths, not traditions.
Okay.
I thought I said faiths.
Yeah, you did, but even that, I don't know about that.
Whatever. As long as you're not shaking snakes in my face, I'm okay. No, not even that. Anyhow, but sorry, I deviate.
It's like rubbing your rocks. Is that what that is?
Shh. Tell people about making myself happy by rubbing my rocks.
Apocalypse fairies are good. There's something that's kind of a new thing.
What?
Apocalypse fairies.
What the hell is that?
People who randomly should drop stuff off on your doorstep, ring the doorbell, and go away. often they leave boxes of goodies like chocolates or coffees or teas or alcoholic beverages.
What?
Yeah. It's a thing in suburban communities.
We're rural. Damn it.
I don't know what to tell you, man.
Really? People are doing that?
Yeah, they're dressing up in costume.
Like steampunkish,
Um,
plague
like
doctor?
Donnie Darko.
Donnie Darko. Donnie Darko.
Well, I saw a video on YouTube, and it was somebody dressed up with a rabbit head and left a basket.
Oh, that's Frank. Frank the Rabbit.
Yeah, Frank the Rabbit. So, and had a little basket with some beer, rang the doorbell, and ran off.
Are you sure it's beer? Because you know what killed Donnie, right?
No, I don't remember.
Frozen blue water from an airplane.
Okay. Nope, that wasn't it. So,
Sorry, anyhow. Actually,
yeah.
it was supposed to be the engine of the plane fell through us. Anyhow.
So, no, it was...
sorry, spoiler alert.
Yep. Yeah, it was just, it's apocalypse fairies are real. And you're supposed... Now...
That's crazy.
Now, what I've heard, though, is if the apocalypse fairy knocks on your door and leaves you a gift, you kind of have to pay it forward and leave a gift for somebody else.
Karen's brother, Donnie Darko. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, whiskey and Heineken. I'm right there with you. So, I'll be there.
Okay, so the Four Horsemen bomber? No. So, anyways, that was the last paragraph by Karen here.
Interesting.
Yeah. HuffPost is an interesting place to be sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
Has HuffPost been snoped yet?
You know what HuffPost is, don't you?
Puff Puff Pass?
No, it's the new name for the Huffington Post.
Oh yeah, I don't.
Huffington, Ariana Huffington. Ariana? Oh wow, really? Wow.
I don't normally go to HuffPost. I just thought this was a funny article.
It was a great article. Written by...
Karen. We're going to leave it at that.
It was fun talking with you.
The gal's last name was Blumberg.
Blumberg? Oh, boy.
Yeah. So, anyways. So, it's interesting to me that there's been such an increase in paganism in the last year. Have you noticed? Besides me talking about it, I mean.
Right. No, I have, and maybe it's this whole awakening thing we've been talking about for like 2.5 years now. And this, but there's awakening and there's being woke.
Okay.
It's
Two
not
way
woke.
different things. No. Woke is something else entirely. So,
woke is kind of a reality thing. Awakening is a spiritual thing.
Very interesting. I am talking about spiritual awakening tomorrow night.
Well, great segue, Dawn. Good job. It is kind of weird how, well, it's not really, because you hear all this stuff about what's going on with the Catholic Church, and people are disillusioned with some of these charismatics, and the dogmas, and they're tired of being told you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that, and so we go into quarantine.
Right? And everybody embraces it. Like, when did grocery store employees become the Gestapo?
What?
Getting yelled at by a grocery store employee for going the wrong way down a one-way aisle.
Oh my God, that was ridiculous. That was absolutely ridiculous. Call the police. She's not wearing a mask. Yeah, that was kind of ridiculous. You guys are supposed to be going the other way. Well, maybe if you made the signs big and maybe hung them instead of like made them like 4 inches wide and put them on the floor. God, anyhow.
Anyways, the next person that tells me I'm going the wrong way down a one-way aisle, I'm going to tell them I'm going to lick their eyeball.
That's assault.
Assault with slobbery.
Just bring the dog next time.
Right?
Slobber. We should get like a Beethoven.
Right.
Hooch. Hooch.
So, I have hooch.
So, wrong hooch. But, you know, the rise in paganism or pagan beliefs or out of the norm faith,
the contemporary norm, yeah. Yeah, it's a real thing. And I think, you know, churches, Dee mentions, churches are really losing ground. Yeah, they really are. Partly because the message isn't...
Lucky only some of us can do that. Some of us cannot.
I'm
talking about the calling out
maybe
part.
I think there's been too many times someone who says they're a Christian says, "Oh, the rapture's coming, the world's going to end," and it's like
myself in the eye.
It's like how many times are you gonna try this, you know? And they keep doing it over and over and over again, and every time someone's like, "Oh, it's really gonna happen this time," and no. And yeah, Bomber says people are realizing who they really are. Yeah. A friend of mine, yeah, she approached me today. She goes, "Who's Kieran? What? Why? What's going on here? Why is this in my brain? I don't know what this is. I've never heard of this. What is going on?" And so yeah, and it's one of those things. She's like, apparently I've been pagan for a while. When did that happen? And so that's really, I think, becoming a thing. People are realizing that they've been pagan for a while, and they didn't even realize it because here they've been.
Careful, you're pushing my lamp off my desk.
Okay, fine. And it's just, I don't know. And then Lucky goes something about the prophets. None of the prophets can predict ooga booga type stuff. She got into a big conversation with a guy who said that pagans are going to line up for the mark of the beast. Her response was, only Christians believe in the beast.
God, that conversation makes me mad.
You're going to hell because you're a pagan.
No. Well, maybe. It's only spelled with one L, though.
Totally
still going to be
place.
A big friggin' party.
They have beer there.
Good stuff, too. Yeah, you know, it's funny. You know, as a matter of fact, I was wearing a specific shirt on the portal one night. And in the comments and YouTube, well, he's sitting there wearing a satanic shirt. Well, it's not satanic. It's only satanic to you. Because, like, your dogma.
Right.
Dude, your dogma.
Your dogma's barking.
We shall
you tell it.
Carry.
You should muzzle your dogma.
So, but anyhow.
Yeah, and it's... I don't know. I think people are becoming more aware of the world around them. There's definitely a trend where people are opening their eyes and their spirituality, and they're not assuming that, oh, I feel this thing. It has to be Christianity. Because it's not. It may not. Okay, it could be. I'm not saying it can't be. But it might not be. Odds are pretty good it won't be.
You know, so you know, people talk about when they're in church and they have this sense of, well, I've spoke several times about being in a charismatic church where they start speaking in tongues just spontaneously, and it really drives me nuts. But they create this energy
Mm-hmm.
that, it's contagious. It's a contagious energy, except for me, because my BS blinders were down
Mm-hmm.
at the time, and I was like, what? And I went to that Christian concert, and they said, oh, anybody who wants to come back and, blah, blah, blah. That really wigged me out, too. As a matter of fact, the kid I went with, he's like, yeah, that was just freaking weird. And so it really soured me at a young age towards that particular faith. And so and that was back when I was in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like half a lifetime ago. Um, and it really soured me. And they talk about, people talk about, oh, I'm more spiritual than religious or whatever that other word they use is. But they don't understand it. They're still not understanding what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And they may be right. They may be more spiritual in the sense that they're having a difference of opinion with the written word, and they're having a different, apparently there's a lot of them, and they're having an issue with the delivery of the message, and they shy away from that particular faith, and so they become spiritual, and yet they don't know what that means. They know there's something, or maybe they don't. Maybe they just don't want to be identified with them. And so they say something different, but they don't want to offend the person by saying, no, I'm an atheist, or, the common words that kids know.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's easier to put an idea behind those, because the United States was a Christian, air quotes, Christian nation for a very long time, and that's what we were taught.
Mm-hmm.
And then since I'm going to say the rise of spiritualism, and say starting in the late 19th century, 1800s, 1890 through 1920s, when this I shouldn't have drank that second glass. When it really became popular, spiritualism became popular,
Mm-hmm.
and Ouija boards and seances and psychic photography and
By the way, don't use the Ouija board.
yeah. Well, anyhow, and those things really, really did become very, very popular. But so it introduced a new lexicon into our language, and it's slowly made its way into our ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And we shy away from those charismatics. And so you go to a church, and these charismatics, they create this energy, they create this excitement, and people start believing this is the way it's supposed to be. This is the word of God. This is God speaking to me in tongues, which I don't understand, but it's a language of the heart, so I don't have to, which confuses the crap out of me. But then you have those people who are spiritual that just try to stay away from it. But then there are people who are truly spiritual, and they believe that there is something bigger than us, whether it be a universal consciousness or, the cosmic energy, or, aliens moving us around, whatever that may be. At least they believe in something. And we have this awakening, this thinning of the veil and the clashing of the dimensions, or, the quantum entanglements, whatever you want to call it. And so they don't know what to call it. So they just all become pagans. Oh, I'm pagan. Well, you're pagan because you believe that aliens came from the sky and seeded the earth with DNA?
Technically, it's not paganism. That's Alienism?
That's
So, Pharmacy wants to know, wants me to expound on Ouija boards lately. Ouija boards bad. And it's not because Ouija boards are bad necessarily. It's because they're marketed to anybody who's over the age of 8.
And they come in pink.
They come in camo. And pink camo. And so the Karens in the world can all get them and feel just cool and emo. Pink emo. Pink mo.
I'm sorry. Had to gather myself.
You look like you stopped breathing. So, Ouija boards are a way to contact the spiritual world, period. And for those who don't understand the Ouija board at all, they don't know how to close them. Because the instructions don't really say, oh, hey, open your session, do your thing, and then close your session. Maybe they do. I don't know. I've never bought one. I've never played with one. I don't have any desire to mess with one.
I walked out of school one time because somebody was allowed to play with it in my civics class. Not civics. It wasn't civics. It was my homeroom.
WTF?
Yeah. Oh, but I couldn't read I couldn't read the Bible, but they could bring a Ouija board and read the Satanic Bible.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
And that was in the mid 80s. So anyhow, I'm sorry, but yeah, most of it is ignorance.
Yeah, ignorance, and it's not because I think, and Lucky's right. Liars. It's just you're opening the door.
It's an open portal,
and you're opening a door into a crowd of strangers.
Yep.
And you're saying, "Hey,
talk to me. I'm lonely. My name's Karen.
And I'm drinking wine." Actually, there's nothing wrong with wine, Karen. And probably drinking a seltzer. One of those seltzer soda things.
That's a hard... What are they? White Claws.
Mm-hmm.
I have a White Claw. And a Zima.
A cranberry White Claw. With a twist of lime.
Anyhow, we don't have much time.
Anyway, so they don't understand the weight of the tool that they're using.
Right.
Because that's all it is. It's a tool, just like a hammer or a nail or a screwdriver or a knife or a gun or whatever it is. It's a tool.
Right.
And generally speaking, it's like giving a crowd of monkeys a gun. You don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
Nothing could happen, or something bad could happen, or somewhere in between.
Or something YouTubeable.
Right. And for those who are using the Ouija board without understanding the consequences of using the Ouija board and incorrectly, the potential for something bad going wrong.
Right.
Yeah. Is too high. So, and it really does bother me that it's considered a game that anybody over the age of 8 should be able to play. Just because you can read doesn't mean you should be able to play this game, because it's not a game.
Right.
It's like sending your kids into a chat world without any supervision.
Right. So, and many times we talk about it on the portal all the time because, like, that's what we talk about, stuff like that. And it mostly is ignorance. And ignorance isn't necessarily bad. Ignorant people can be taught. Stupid people should be shot. Anyhow. And that's what it is. It's just a blind channel.
Mm-hmm.
It's different than, say, ITC communication, which is to say spirit box, things like that. Because and it doesn't matter if you've got a Ouija board, a spirit board, an angel board, whatever. They're all the same. Your intent is not going to fix that box, that board. It's not going to fix it. I only talk to angels. Are you sure?
Yeah, because
I have an angel board and it says the name Saint Michael on it.
Okay, well, there are liars out there that are spirits.
Yes.
There are those that will conceal themselves and make themselves appear good right up until they have snagged you as a vessel of evil, for lack of a better word, because I do believe in evil, and then you're stuck.
Right.
So yeah, exactly. Pharmacy, just like any tool, if you don't know how to use it, don't use it.
Yeah.
I am not going to go buy a lathe and just throw on a stick of wood and assume I'm going to create a vase without any training or education whatsoever.
Right, exactly.
Because that's how you lose fingers and eyes.
Sorry,
just be aware. If you're going to use a Ouija board, be aware of it and make sure you close your session.
Right.
And if you do have a Ouija board and it goes sideways, what do? Well, you can reach out to myself, wildepaisley@gmail.com. You can reach out to Brent Thomas. Brent's got a lot of resources.
At gmail.com.
Yep. Because we both have access to people who may be able to help or give you some guidance. And I would probably talk to Deb also, because Deb she's got her finger on the pulse of the spirit world and in your guides. So if you have guides that are communicating, they will definitely communicate with you. So, holy cow, look at that. We are at 11 o'clock in our time. So stay tuned for Duke. And Lucky's going to do the voodoo she do to make sure TFR is working just fine. So thank you all for joining tonight. Tomorrow night, I'm talking about what's it mean to be spiritually awoke.
Awaken.
I said awoke.
You can't. Don't be awoke.
I'm not going to be woke. Be awoke. Awakened.
Be awakened.
Aware. Be aware.
Oh, be aware. Be aware.
So have a good night, all. Merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again.
Good night.
Good night. And I gotta hit the button. I'll remember. There.